It's halftime in a critical playoff game. The players are back in the locker room catching their breath. The coach is laying out a strategy, and then you see it. Kevin Durant is tweeting mid-game. Yep, that actually happened. So what if I told you that NBA players are no longer allowed to use their phones in moments like this? That's right. The NBA has introduced a new policy banning phones during games. While that might sound a little extreme, believe me, it's not. But why now? Why is the NBA suddenly so concerned about phones? And what are some of the wildest mid-game social media moments in NBA history? Let's get into it. First, let me take you back to one of the funniest and perhaps most infamous social media moments in NBA history, Kevin Durant's burner account scandal in 2017. You see, Durant once tweeted from what appeared to be his official account, but there was one big problem. He was defending himself using his own account instead of his supposed anonymous burner account. Fans quickly caught on, and it became clear that the NBA champion and MVP had accidentally outed himself, revealing he'd been using a fake account to criticize his detractors and praise his own play. In a later interview with Showtime's All the Smoke podcast, Durant casually admitted, "I'm still going to do the burner thing," he said. And while that incident was undeniably hilarious, it was far from the only time NBA players couldn't resist the allure of their phones, even during or immediately after games. Let's go all the way back to 2009. Former NBA player Charlie Villanueva, while playing for the Milwaukee Bucks, decided to fire off a tweet during halftime. His message wasn't malicious, it was just a harmless tweet about how motivated he was to improve his performance in the second half of the game. Charlie Villanueva, in the locker room, snuck to post my twit. "We're playing the Celtics, ball game at the half. Coach wants more toughness. I gotta step up." But the problem, it was posted during halftime. The NBA wasn't amused, and neither was his head coach Scott Skiles, who believed halftime was a sacred moment focused on game adjustments and strategy, not Twitter updates. From that moment, the league began realizing it had a potential issue on its hands. Social media was becoming a bigger and bigger part of players' lives, and keeping them off their phones during games was soon to become a priority. Then we move forward to the 2020 NBA bubble, where the league resumed the season amid the COVID-19 pandemic. LeBron James, the face of the league, gave fans an inside look at life in the bubble by going live on Instagram. Now, this wasn't during a game, but it still raised eyebrows. Players were supposed to maintain a laser focus on their championship run, not interact with fans via live streams. LeBron's IG Live, though, came across as fun and harmless. It gave fans a rare behind-the-scenes look at the personal lives of NBA players. While it seemed lighthearted, moments like this showed the delicate balance between allowing players to express themselves and the league's desire to maintain professionalism. The NBA's recent revision of its in-game phone and social media policy is more than just about maintaining focus. The main concern? Gambling. According to SNY's Ian Begley, the updated rules will enforce a stricter no-phone policy during games, with the goal of protecting the integrity of the sport, particularly in relation to gambling. Each team will now designate a communication point person for emergency situations during this time, ensuring that players and coaches remain entirely focused on the game. This change comes on the heels of a significant incident earlier in 2024 when Jontay Porter, a forward for the Toronto Raptors, was banned for life after an investigation revealed he had shared confidential information with bettors and placed bets on NBA games while playing in the G League. The league found that Porter had placed at least 13 bets directly violating NBA policy, which strictly prohibits players from betting on NBA-related activities. In today's NBA, the relationship between players, technology, and gambling is more interconnected than ever before, which has led to the league taking serious action. The introduction of the phone ban during games is not merely a restriction, but a direct response to a rapidly changing environment. Phones aren't just communication tools anymore. They are portals to the world of gambling, social media, and instant data transfer. Players have access to information that in the wrong hands could compromise the integrity of the sport. The case of Jontay Porter, who was banned for life after being caught sharing sensitive game-related information with bettors, serves as a sobering example. This action wasn't taken lightly, and it underscored the fact that the NBA's battle against insider trading and game manipulation has escalated. Betting on sports is now easier than ever with the rise of online platforms and apps, creating an environment where insider knowledge is gold. This is why the NBA is tightening its rules and introducing the phone ban. They're not just trying to protect the integrity of the game, they're guarding against external influences coaches that could impact outcomes. Consider that even the smallest piece of inside information, such as a player's injury status or mood, could swing betting lines drastically. The stakes are high, and the NBA knows it. The evolution of sports betting into a multi-billion-dollar industry has forced leagues to rethink player conduct. It's not about just keeping players off Twitter, it's about controlling access to sensitive information that could impact games. Even casual interactions, such as sharing minor game details, could lead to big financial consequences for both the league and its players. The integrity of the sport is paramount, and the new rules ensure that the focus remains on basketball, not betting. By enforcing this ban, the NBA is signaling that it will take extreme measures to ensure that its games remain fair and free from manipulation. And it's not just about the players. Coaches, team staff, and even referees are now under stricter scrutiny. The league's increased vigilance highlights how the lines between entertainment, gambling, and sport have blurred, demanding a new level of accountability from everyone involved. While players, coaches, and employees are banned from betting on NBA games, they are still allowed to place bets on other sports where it's legal. The updated cell phone policy is just another piece of the NBA's broader effort to protect the fairness and integrity of the game as sports betting continues to grow in popularity. In a major move for the 2024-25 season, the NBA is tightening its grip on cell phone and social media usage during games. Previously, players and coaches were prohibited from using their phones starting 45 minutes before tip-off until post-game media duties were complete. But this rule has been loosely enforced in recent years. Now, with the increasing influence of sports betting, the NBA is doubling down on this rule with stricter enforcement. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said, "Our goal is to protect the integrity of the sport and ensure that all participants stay focused on the game itself." This policy revision is driven by growing concerns over sports betting's impact on the league. The NBA wants to ensure that no potential game manipulation occurs and that the outcome of the games is decided only on the court. Earlier this year, Jonte Porter was banned for life after he was caught sharing confidential information with bettors and placing bets on NBA games. Silver noted, "The rise of sports betting introduces new risks that we cannot ignore. We must ensure the outcomes of our games is determined on the court and nowhere else." The NBA's response to these statements is clear. They are serious about safeguarding the sport's reputation. Now, if banning phones during games sounds a little extreme, remember that this isn't the first time the NBA has taken a stand against certain behaviors to maintain its image. Back in 2005, the NBA introduced a dress code that banned players from wearing certain types of clothing, like baggy jeans, oversized t-shirts, and flashy chains. The league wanted to project a more professional image, which led to plenty of debates, especially with players like Allen Iverson, who argued that it was an attempt to distance the NBA from hip-hop culture. But over time, the dress code became standard and players adapted, now even turning the pregame tunnel into a fashion runway. Another notable ban was the league's crackdown on hand-checking in 2004. This change, which prevented defenders from using their hands to impede defensive players, significantly altered the game's style, making it more free-flowing and high-scoring. While players initially struggled, the hand-check ban opened the door for finesse players like Steph Curry and James Harden, who thrive on agility and shooting over brute strength. Under these new phone rules, each team will appoint a designated contact for emergencies, and players and coaches must stay off their phones. This move reinforces the NBA's commitment to maintaining trust and transparency as the league continues to evolve in the era of sports betting. Phones are now essential to daily life, showing up everywhere, even where they don't belong, like locker rooms and halftimes. Some coaches and players are worried that phones have crept into moments that should remain sacred, and the NBA agrees. Distractions from social media can cause a lack of focus, even during critical moments. Joel Embiid once tweeted during halftime of a playoff game, raising concerns that if your attention is on Twitter, you can't be fully locked into the game. But the issue of phones and social media goes beyond simple distractions. Players like Kevin Love and DeMar DeRozan have been vocal about how social media can amplify anxiety and depression. One bad game can lead to an onslaught of negative comments, making it hard for players to bounce back mentally. And this doesn't just affect individual players, it impacts team dynamics too. Phones can create distance between players. While old school players like Michael Jordan and Larry Bird bonded over playing cards and hanging out, today's players are more likely to be glued to their screens, which can hurt team chemistry and on-court performance. As for fans, reactions to the NBA's phone ban are mixed. Some support it, believing it's necessary to protect the game's integrity, while others think it's an overreach. One fan remarked, "Knew this was coming at some point. Too many dudes were caught using phones during games." Another added, "In what way does being on their phones affect the integrity of the game? Focus on the officiating." Some fans, though, were unimpressed by the revised regulations, deeming them to be unfair to players. "How about referees? Who's watching the officials in Secaucus?" inquired one fan. "In what way does them being on their phone affect the integrity of the game? I think they need to focus on the officiating, LOL, said another fan. "Uses integrity of the game to justify everything," complained another fan. As with any bold decision, time will tell if the phone ban sticks or fades away. Some players are already looking for loopholes, like using team tablets or seeking special permission for unique circumstances. And with the rise of wearables and other tech innovations, it'll be fascinating to see how the NBA adapts over time. Could the ban be relaxed over time, or will it get stricter as the NBA sees more results? Will we start to see the other leagues like the NFL or MLB adopt similar measures? One thing is certain, the NBA has always been a trendsetter, and this move could change the way athletes across sports handle their relationship with technology. So what do you think? Should the NBA stick with this phone ban, or is it too extreme? Do you miss the wild social media moments during games? Let me know in the comment section below. And hey, if you love basketball content, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. I'll be bringing you more stories, insights, and laughs from the world of basketball. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.